My name is Punit Doshi, and I'm a Scrum practitioner. I wanted to share some insight about sprint review. More specifically, it is about some of the common problems faced by the Scrum team, that is, stakeholders missing during the sprint review. So let's first talk about sprint review. It's an event that happens towards the end of the sprint where the Scrum team and the stakeholders get together to inspect the product increment and also review the product backlog and adapt it. Adapt the product backlog based on the feedback received from the increment and the market changes. So this is the only event during which we invite the stakeholders. Officially, we invite the stakeholders to participate in Scrum event. So what happens is a lot of times the team complain that we don't have the stakeholders coming over for this review. So some of the problems that I have listed is nothing to see. The review is too technical, or the stakeholders are too busy. Most of it comes over here. Most of the issues are over here. So when the stakeholders say nothing to see, I can break it up into different aspects. The first one would be the team hasn't met the sprint goal. When the development team is new to agile principles, they may tend to overcommit, and during that time they may not meet the sprint goal. So is this an excuse for the stakeholders not to come for the sprint review? I guess not. Even though nothing may be out, nothing may have come out in the increment, the stakeholders should still be part of the review. They need to understand from the development team and the product owner what were the challenges that they have faced to see how they can help out in terms of removing any impediments based on the leverage they have. So this would be a good point for them to do a checkpoint with the team. So that's one. The other aspect I would say is when there's nothing to see is the stakeholders might be looking at overall workflow, and the sprint goal might be only delivering a small aspect of it. Now, even though the stakeholders want to see the end-to-end flow, since we had this piece ready, the stakeholders should still be part of the review to make sure that whatever has been developed by the Scrum team, they are still reviewing it, and they give the feedback on that specific output. And also, if there are any changes that they believe based on the feedback or based on the product increment and based on the market condition, if they want to change anything in the product backlog, I would say, yes, the stakeholders do still need to participate in that. So that's one aspect. The second one is too technical. Remember, the people who are presenting are going to be the development team, and they are more into the technical depths of how they have done things. Now, the development team may have to shift their mindset so that they keep the stakeholders into the perspective when they demonstrate the product. And instead of going into the technical jargons or the technical details, I would advise the development team to focus on the end outcomes of the increment that they have developed, so that the stakeholders get to see what they are expecting, not into the technical details. Don't waste their time going into the details of the things which doesn't affect the stakeholders directly. So that's one. The second problem that I see in this is, in some of the Scrum teams, you have component teams rather than a feature team. So whenever you have a component team which is working either on the UI or the database layer or the middleware, if you invite the business people or the stakeholders, I think you are inviting the wrong stakeholders. In your case, it shouldn't be the business sponsors or the customers, the end customers. For the review, you should consider inviting the upstream or the downstream consumers, so that for the interface, you have the right feedback from those stakeholders. So that's what I have to say about the two technical aspects. Now, the third one that we hear in a lot of organizations is the stakeholders say they are too busy. For me, this is an organizational impediment. Now, when stakeholders say they are too busy, the Scrum Master and product owner should partner together, get in touch with the stakeholders, have them understand why their presence is very important and their participation during the sprint review to ensure that you are building the right product. Now, that's one. Even if the stakeholders don't agree, then it might be a good idea to get the leadership team involved and understand why do the stakeholders not feel that whatever product is being developed for them is not important for them. So these are just at high level. There are further details, but I just want to close it at that. Thank you for your time.